Hey everyone, this is Dale Sidebottom. It is my time to shine today. I run a company called Energetic Education, and I'm ready to level up your life. You should listen to Time to Shine with my man, Scotty Ferguson, because it's time to level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson. We're at episode 304 with my brother from down under, my brother from another mother, my JUGAR life liver, Dale Sidebottom. Talk about energy. This dude matches me and surpasses me when it comes to community building, well-being, building skill sets to really help you level up. And I'm so blessed to have been able to go on to Dale's podcast and shine as well. But I'll tell you what, I took away a heck of a lot more knowledge nuggets from Dale, being able to interview Dale than I could ever have spilled. So you might want to break out notebooks, sit back, relax, get rid of all distractions, because here comes my good friend from down under, Dale Sidebottom. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got my JUGAR life from down under here, my good buddy here at Dale Sidebottom. And Dale actually interviewed me last week, and I was like, man, how can I even bring the energy to the mic that we did literally 7 days ago at this time? And I'm just so blessed to have Dale on. He's a full-time play consultant who taps into his 20 plus years working in the education and fitness sectors to educate individuals, schools, sporting clubs, and corporate organizations globally on the benefits adult play can have on mental health and well-being. Dale is an author of a kick-ass book, which I'm going to do a book giveaway at the end of this show, which is all, it's fantastic. He's TEDx speaker and top rating energetic radio podcast, which I was on, and we had a freaking blast last week. Dale's worked face to face with students, teachers, schools, and corporations in over 20 countries around the world. And you heard me mention the JUGAR life, which is Spanish for play. That's what my guy here, Dale, does. He likes to play. I don't think he works a day in his life, even though it is work. And speaking of that, he is the author of All Work, No Play, a surprising guide to feeling more mindful, grateful, and cheerful. And my man, Dale, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Ooh, purple, mate. Firstly, thanks for being here. Having me today, Scotty. I love it. My time to shine, baby. I'm going to bring the energy today for you. Blue. Yeah, it's funny. I've got a blue jumper on, mate. My favorite color is blue. What's yours?
I thought you were going to run with the teal, because I'm looking at this TEDx speaker thing, and we're teal and pink and stuff. No, it's awesome. And squad, when you go over, I'm going to drop it in the show notes. Make sure you go check out JUGAR Life. It's actually, JUGAR.life. And you got to check out his TEDx, man. He would have me on my feet, rocking, rolling, clapping, and doing all kinds of just funny, funky stuff, man. But my favorite color is purple. It's regal. It's a mix of red and blue, because I can be red on fire sometimes. Trust me, my staff knows it. And then also the chill blue, which I'm literally looking at the Atlantic Ocean right now, and the sun's setting behind it, so it really brings out that blue, man. So that's fantastic. So let's get to the origins, brother. Let's get to the story here of living that JUGAR life, brother.
Yeah, so as you said before, I was a teacher. So I taught all over the world, and with that as well, I found a love for education and fitness. So I had a large fitness business that I'd run in the mornings and nights as well. And one thing I found, if people they got sick of exercising, particularly in the cold months. And if you could incorporate a bit of fun, so particularly play, where people got no idea what they're doing. So they're just having fun, they're connecting, but by the end they've done a full workout. Or I found ways to do that in the classroom as well. You know, kids are sick of sitting in lines, learning the same way. It's boring. The teacher's up the front, chalk and talk. It's this traditional way that isn't engaging. Right. And you think we leave, Scott, we leave school, we don't sit in lines, we don't have bells. Like we get taught, we get taught all these things, and in the real life hits us. And what do? So I found if you can make whatever you're doing fun, so incorporating play into it, and not only are they learning or moving their body and getting the benefits, but they're also connecting through play. You learn how to, you form your strongest social circles, you figure out how to win and lose, you build resilience, all these different skills. And a big thing I talk about, I call it play-based mindfulness. And for me, I try and meditate, I do different things, but I can't really sit still. So when I am playing or I'm in flow, that is my mindfulness, because I'm not thinking about anything anything else. I'm so present. So I've found a way to now mix that into sessions where I teach adults, particularly, the benefits of play, and finding that inner child, because our lives are too busy. They're stressful. We're go, go, go. Whereas slowing down and just having some fun every single day is something I've found that people have forgotten how to do, particularly after 2 years of our good mate COVID. Do you know what I mean? People have forgotten that joy and fun.
Yeah.
And that's my passion. I want to bring it back to people. So hopefully I can share a little bit of that today, because that's what I do full time now.
Did you say play-based mindfulness?
I did.
Love
yeah.
that.
So
that's
yeah.
Dude, because when you're playing, you're kind of in the moment. You don't really give a shit about what's out there and what's going on. It's like in that moment, if you can play, wow, that's amazing, man. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of a dog. Like my pit bull right here is just waiting for me. Like he knows he gets his walk tonight, but he's just so in the moment, but he's playing all the time. And it's the reason why I have a pit bull, because keeps me in that moment, man, playing and have a good time. So what made you come up with this? Like, I understand you're a teacher and you said something about chalk and like rules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, what made you kind of come up with this concept? And then really, how did people buy into that?
Yeah, well, it was, I went through a pretty rough period in my life about 8 years ago. My life, I was never present. I was always chasing that next thing. So I was always, I'll be happy when I get a new job. I'll be happy when I get a promotion. I'll be happy when I create something. I'm happy when I buy a house, buy a car, all these different things. And what I found was whatever I was doing, I was too busy chasing something and I wasn't living life. And I went through a pretty bad divorce. And at the time, I just I'd pushed away so many people in my life because I was just so driven on being successful. And one thing I realized is I was so successful, but I wasn't living life. So was I successful? No, I was a narcissist. I pushed away friends. I know we spoke about this last week. Mate,
I'm a recovering narcissist, baby.
Well, mate, I think I still have moments of it every now and then.
Yeah.
But I think what I've come through, one thing I figured out is I needed to have fun every day. And one way that when I was going through everything, the only way I could stop my mind going crazy was having these short play breaks. And that was if I walked my dog or at the time I was still teaching. So I was a bit selfish and I made the kids, I'd stop the class and would do these simple little activities. I'd do 3 or 4 a day. And as I slowly did that, I started to feel better about myself. I started to connect with other people. And I realized that these little activities that people think are just fun, there's so many other benefits in it because, I wasn't thinking about, did I feed the dog in the morning? Have I paid my mortgage? What am I going to eat for dinner? Because I was so present in the moment with what I was doing. And when your mind is chaotic, Scott, when you're going crazy and you can't control anything, to have a 5-minute break and just nothing, that present moment, mate, is a gift. And that's where it come from.
I love that you called it a gift. And I have like my daily sabbaticals. And during this, there's probably more than one in my day. Again, it's like my dog gets, I make sure on my watch, my Garmin here, that he gets a mile, no matter what. So I kind of break those down. And he has one leg shorter than the other, so he can't go that far. So it might be 4 quarter-mile walks, but during that time, I let my mind just kind of do what he's doing and just kind of wander. I loved it. I love this concept. So do you do you help groups of people, or do you ever work one-on-one with people, or what's your story there?
I do help people one-on-one, but I suppose the real benefits of play when you're in a large group.
Sure.
And a lot of time, how many conferences or things have you been to and someone goes, oh, we'll do an icebreaker. Straight away, people are like, I don't want an icebreaker. That's junk, because normally they're an ice maker. You go around the circle and the limelight's on one person and, hi, I'm Dale, I'm from Australia. Like, no one cares. They're so nervous about what they're going to say. Like,
it's true. Yeah.
It's so true. Dude. So don't label anything. I never label anything. I just say, can you just follow along with me, or can you do something? So people don't build up a preconceived conception that they don't want to play because they don't know what they're doing until it's actually done, and then the lesson takes place later. So a lot of the work I'll do is within large groups. So I'll go into a corporation or like do a big function or do a keynote, there's so many people in the room, but nobody's looking at anybody else because they're so in tune with what they're doing. And that's the beautiful thing of it. You can have 300 people in the room, but you wouldn't know when you're just focusing on what is this idiot up the front doing with crazy pajamas on. Do you know what I mean? It's got like, they're in the moment. So a lot of the work I like to do is in groups because I also teach people that if you want to get the best out of anybody, it's not about winning or losing, and it's not about putting the limelight on anyone. And I think that's a big thing I see too often is people go, oh, you play a lot of games and, oh, these are some I do. And, oh, if you lose, you sit out. Like that's not, if you're eliminating anyone or people are losing, that's not play. All right. Play isn't about winning or losing. It's about experimenting. It's about trying new things. It's about being okay to fail. And if you look at today's society, Scott, people are too scared to try new things because they don't want to be judged. They don't want to fail. Like, how do you learn if you don't fail? It's a lesson. So I could go on and on and on, mate. But if you use play in the right way, it's magical, mate. It's a magical space.
And people label kind of that fear that they have for doing something. And really, fear is just an excuse to me for not experiencing what you can experience and putting. I'm sure when people kind of go into your curriculum, if you want to call it, there's fear there because they're not used to like unleashing that inner child, if you will, and putting it out there. So what knowledge nuggets can you drop on people that maybe help them get over that fear and start living more of a playful life?
Yeah. And I love how you just mentioned inner child because we've all got it in there. Do you know, we've all got that little Peter Pan inside of Scott, but a lot of us have just hidden it away because we've got to be serious. Life's busy, different things like that. So for me, particularly, I get great results because I'll be vulnerable. I'll be the one that leads by example. Do you know what I mean? Like I will allow other people to do that. And I suppose if you want to get into this space and you're not willing to do that, if you want to facilitate this. So if you've got staff or as a family or a friendship group, you can't just tell people what to do and expect it to work. And that's the problem. Do you know what I mean? People go, I don't have your energy. That's fine. You don't need my energy, but you need to be willing to put yourself out there, because if you don't take that step and show just that vulnerability or that vulnerable side of yourself, then nobody else is going to do it in the audience or whoever you're with. So the biggest bit of advice I'll ever give anybody, if you want results, you're going to lead it. You're the one that's got to make that change. And talk's cheap. And that's where, if you want change, actually allowing people to play and doing something, it'll smash down barriers. I walk into a room where I don't know anyone, right? And the first thing, and you'll probably see this at all conferences, what do people do? They just, if they don't know anyone, they're straight on their phone. You know, that's their safety net. Within 5 or 10 minutes of me doing what I do, I call it my routine, I've got people losing their mind. I'm very good at it now, and people can learn this, but it just shows if you allow people to be in a safe, trusting environment where I am taking literally the piss out of myself a little bit and leading the way, then the magic really happens. And that's a big thing. So if you want to incorporate this, but you're not willing to buy in full, it won't work. And it's like so many different things in life. If you want to start a business, but you're not willing to go all in, it's not going to work. Like who's going to back you if you don't back yourself? And essentially my nugget or truth bomb or whatever you want, anything in life is worth putting all in. And if you do, the results are amazing. And it's exactly the same with building connections, with play, whatever you're doing, Scott. You need to be the one that leads it, and you need to believe in it and go all in.
I love that. And when you're starting to work with these groups, Dale, and you're getting them to kind of go all in, what do you think is the biggest, you might have mentioned it before, but what do you think is their biggest blind spot of not wanting to go all in?
I think too often people have had negative experiences in the past. And the older you get, the more experiences you've had. Do you know what I mean? Like if you look back to school, people didn't like sport or fitness because they're always getting graded, or they didn't like acting class, or do you know what I mean? Like different things because everybody was watching them at the same time. So I think the biggest advice I've got anyone is never ever say we're going to play a game or I've got an icebreaker. Never label anything, because if you label something straight away, people will have a perceived idea that's not for them. It's like when I speak, a lot of people go, can you give me a big blurb? Can you give me all this? I said, I don't really want to, because the more I give you, it gives more people the opportunity to go, this isn't for me. Nah, I've done that before. I won't buy into it.
Right.
So the whole thing is just starting off and less instruction straight into it. I start most things I do, and it's on my TED Talk. I started my TED Talk with it. People said, you can't play a game in a TED Talk. I said, well, I play that game because it makes me feel comfortable. So I simply start this clapping game, and I say, if I say one, I clap and everybody else claps, and then it just slowly builds. So less instruction, no labeling, and you're straight into it. And by the end of it, people don't even realize what they've done.
Sure.
They're like, oh, that was amazing. But I don't like playing games. Well, you just did. Do you know what I mean? But if you tell them beforehand, they're not going to do it.
Right. And that is 100% true. Like I told my story in your show, and my squad knows about my rebounding, my trampoline that I bring on stage. And TEDx was like, well, really? And then all of a sudden they're like, that it was awesome because there's energy was built and everyone's head's going like this and they're affirming it. We're having fun and stuff like that. And as a speaker, you probably get approached afterwards and people are peppering you with questions, and you probably hear a lot of the same questions. But is there any good question that you wish that they would ask you?
I love this question, and mine would be, the question I want is people, and I'm sure you get this, is people go, oh, I want to do what you do. Like, that's great. I could see myself doing it. And the question I wish to ask them is like, how can I get where you are? And how do I do it and not be me? No one's going to be Scott Ferguson. No one's going to be Dale Sidebottom. And that's fine because everybody's got their own unique characters. If anyone wants to be a speaker or lead by example, you need to be authentic. And I wish people would see this. Like, don't copy how we both speak or how somebody, like, take nuggets or take things that they do well, but don't copy it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have got your own unique style and it's going to take work. But if you really want something, no one starts doing keynotes or doing TED Talks. You don't just walk straight onto that, you know, like, and I'm very proud of what I've been able to achieve, but I've worked my butt off and I've figured out, I've done some absolutely disgusting, horrible speeches that I reckon I could hear crickets going in the background. Dude. I bet you've done the same. Oh, man. How do you learn though?
Dude, I get my best speeches sometimes to Stitch, my pit bull. I'm like, damn, where is that on stage sometimes, you know? And I just kind of laugh at myself. Freaking love that. So, let me ask you something. Have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
I have seen Back to the Future,
Let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly, all right? Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Dale. What kind of knowledge nuggets might you drop on the 22-year-old Dale to maybe not so much change anything, Dale, but maybe help him shorten a learning curve, level up, maybe just a little bit quicker?
I think I love this question. And if I was Michael J. Fox as 22, two little ducks, quack, quack, I would, a little bingo reference there for the bingo players out there. I would say, I would say that I'm not my work. And this is something I've battled with a long time, that the true reflection of me as a person is the connections and impact I can have on people, not what I do for work. And this is something I've always struggled with, and particularly the last couple of years, that I wish someone had told me that it doesn't matter what you own or what you earn or anything like that. It's how you treat people. And that's something that I don't know, as a 22-year-old, I would have loved to have been told that. I don't actually know.
I wouldn't have. I knew everything.
No, I know. And this is the thing, like, I know we've both spoken and we're very similar in a lot of ways with what do you know what I mean? The way we acted and how we've changed. I just think, I think you can change your story. I just wish it didn't take me so long to be a better person. So I would tell myself that. If I listened, I don't know. But that's the sort of message I work with, and particularly when I'm talking, with 17 and 18-year-olds that are about to leave school and go in the real world. That's the biggest takeaway is, I say, and I call it, don't buy green bananas, because if you buy green bananas, you can't eat them. So I say to them, whatever you're doing, don't buy green bananas and wait for the future or wait for something or wait to reach out to a friend and let them know. Do it now, right? And invest. Don't invest in stocks and shares or Bitcoin, even though that's probably going to be good long-term. Invest in the friends and family and people you have in life, because at the end of the day, that's all you're going to have. And if I could say that to 22-year-old Day, I'd say, don't buy green bananas and peanut, because I used to buy them in bulk.
Dude, that is, I hear you. And you think you're going to live forever in a sense, and you just don't know what your creator is going to do with you. I love that. Invest in the now and what is there. And if you're stuck, get your asking gear, right? Like ask for help, because at that age, in 17, 18, I mean, they know everything. I mean, their brain hasn't physically fully developed yet. So they kind of feel they know everything. And then life punches them in the mouth and like, oh, mommy, so it's like I love that advice you give yourself, man. How do you want your dash remembered then? That little line in between your incarnation date, your expiration date, your life date, and your death date. Hopefully it's a long way down the line, brother, for you, because this world needs you. But like that little dash, how do you want people to remember that dash?
Yeah. So for me, I have one thing I want to do each day. I want to have fun, and I want to help people have fun. So if I can be remembered for somebody that, always showed up, I feel I've always got energy. Even though last week I wasn't on time, I always feel I'm on time.
Damn that Aussie.
Bloody Aussies late again. No, I just want to remember that, if I walked into a room, I made people feel happy. I made people feel special. I gave them a time, and I was present when I was with people.
Yeah.
That's something that that I'm still working on. I think we all are. I just want to make people feel like that. I appreciate them. I appreciate being around them. And hopefully they enjoy being around me. And if that can happen, do you know what I mean? I'll be happy. And so far, I think the last 6-7 years, like comes and goes and hubs and flows, I think I'm doing a good job of that. So, but you can always improve and you can always get better. And that's what I do each day. I just try and get one step better than the day before, mate.
And I love that you say it's okay to go off course, right? If you have to. But just go off course less often as you can learn. And like with my narcissism, I was way off course, right? And like I still, like you admitted to, like myself, I still have bouts of it, but it's less often because you're exercising, flexing your hustle muscle, getting out there and doing things that keep you happy. And that's what you're doing. I think that has a lot to do with where you're at is the happiness. And it's genuine. It's not bullshit, man. And I love that about you, Dale.
Yeah.
So then what do you think people misunderstand the most about you?
That's never really been asked this question. I love the questions that you're throwing at me. This is for someone, and I know I was saying with you last week, someone on the other end of the microphone a lot. Yeah. It's nice to be challenged again with good questions. I really enjoy this. I think people misunderstand that, do you know what I mean? That you do have bad days and that you're not always on, even though I do show up. Yeah, I think people just see a perceived thing of what you do, and like social media or whatever, it's a highlight reel. You don't post all the negatives on there. So I love that people think like I'm an Energizer buddy, I'm up and about, I'm always there, but I'm not. So I do take time for myself. I make sure I walk my dog every day with no device. So like I have detoxes. Like there's little things I do each day just that I have to do to show up as a person I am. And that's what I wish people would know, that it doesn't just come naturally. It doesn't just be on all the time, that it's a lot of work that goes in the background. And if you want to be in a good place and help people and help yourself, you have to put that work in. And I don't always think people know that, or the amount. I know you're saying with your sabbatical or your morning routine or the different things you do each day, Scotty, to show up and be that person. That's work. That's investing in yourself. And I just wish everybody would see the importance of doing that, because then I think I just think people would be in a happier place if you invested that time. So the thing I'd love people to realize about me is I'm in a good place now because I've worked my butt off. I've put the work in. I've come from a place I don't want to be anymore, and I want to keep improving.
And that's so transparent, man. I appreciate you sharing that. So, I mean, you're like me, very gregarious in a sense, in a great way, Is there an introvert side to you? Like, can you go to a restaurant and sit by yourself, order, have a meal, enjoy it?
No, I suppose coming from working, doing speaking all over the world, a lot of time you are by yourself. So I do like it sometimes, but then I'd say before COVID, yes, I could do that. Now I really battled over the last couple of years. I feed off people's energy.
I was going to say, you're a community guy, man. You're a community builder, dude. Love it.
Yeah. So like I battle with that. I need to be around people. I feed off energy. They feed off me. So
that's great.
Yes, I can go and have a meal by myself, but I don't really enjoy it, if that makes sense.
No, fair enough, man. Thank you again, you're a freaking transparent guy, man. I love this. So then what keeps you up at night? You're so full of energy. Can you shut it down easy?
Yeah, I can. I think by the end of the night, I've got like a few different routines I do with my wife, a couple of fun little games where we, practice gratitude or different questions. I'll sit on the couch, I'll do a bit of stretching, and then I'll go to bed. And I find I sleep not bad. If my young son doesn't wake me up like he did last night, whoo, you can see the suitcases under my eyes. But no, I do sleep well because I feel I work the whole day. So
and it's fulfilled.
What keeps me up at night? I think like a lot of people, the worries of the world. But I think as I'm going along, you control what you control, and I'm starting to realize that now, that a lot of people worry about things that they can't control or things that have gone. And again, it just comes back to being present. The past is gone; they'll keep stress. The future may not even happen, and I'll build anxiety. I don't want either of those. I've had them before. Sure. I want to be right here, right now. And essentially that's how I sleep.
And I love that you threw out that V word again, that vulnerability, man. That's again, it's so refreshing. And there's not a lot of lipstick on this pig of, my little podcast that I have going. I love it that you're just coming strong and straight. So then Dale, what is your definition of a life well lived?
Life well lived is, like I said again, Scott, that, do you know what I mean? When you can look back at things, everything you've done, and be proud of, and even if you have made mistakes or hiccups along the way, that you've done something to improve that. And I think that's the biggest thing that I try and work on, that I'm still not perfect and nobody is. And I still make mistakes and I still upset people, but it's the action or the reaction I take after that to make sure it doesn't happen, so that I level up, I grow as a person, and that they know that I am sorry. Whereas previously, mate, sorry was just in my vocabulary, Scott, as just a word, because I was like, sorry, move on, I'm not going to change. Whereas
you wanted to get away with something, you wanted to get past something. That's what sorry was.
I didn't care.
Me too, brother.
I didn't care.
Me too.
And it's, I can say that now because I've done the work, I've put it in. I actually didn't care about the impact or what I was doing because I was so caught up in myself. Right. And that, a life well lived, that is not a life well lived. Right. That's regretful. And it would be regretful if I was still doing it, but I'm not. And so I want to be remembered for, trying to be the best person I can each and every day and working on that.
Time to Shine Today podcast. Varsity Squad, we are back. And Dale, one day we're going to meet in the flesh, face to face, and we're going to have a discussion. And each one of these questions, you and I will probably talk 15, 20 minutes about, whether it's over a brain grenade or two or a protein shake or whatever, right? So you got 5 seconds to answer each one with no explanations. You ready to level up?
Love it. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. What is the best leveling up advice Dale's ever received?
Each day be better than the last one.
Yeah, beat that guy in the mirror for sure. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Getting up very early, working out, and practicing gratitude.
Love it. Love it. So other than your book, All Work and No Play, if you see me walking down the streets of Melbourne or something like that, and you're like, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums, man. What book might you hand me?
There's The Go Giver by your good mate John Berg. Bob Berg. It's
my neighbor.
If he's not walking his dog, look out the window. I love that story.
I love it.
That is the ultimate book, and I give that to so many people. I love that book.
I love it. Most commonly used emoji when you text.
Ooh, the fire. I love the fire symbol.
Love it.
Burning up.
Nicknames growing up?
My last name's Sidebottom, so people just call me Sidey. Pretty unique last name. So yeah, people Sidey.
Love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly, hands down.
All right,
hands down, Monopoly.
Go-to ice cream flavor when you go?
Boysenberry.
Really nice. I haven't heard that since my dad eats that all the time, man. That's fantastic. Love it. Love it. There's a sandwich named the Sidebottom. All right.
Is it?
What's on that sandwich?
There's some real hard covering, but in the middle it's gooey, it's fun, and it's playful, and everyone enjoys it. It's like I don't know if you've ever had a battered Mars bar. I don't know if this is an Australian thing where they deep fry a Mars bar. Exactly like that. This batter, it doesn't look good, but you taste it and it blows your mind.
It's called here, we call it Monte Cristo, where it's like kind of fried on the outside. It's an awesome sandwich, dude. But there's just all kinds of love in the middle. It's fantastic. And the scale hates it the next day. I'll tell you that.
And a heart attack. And probably a heart attack coming as well.
Heart attack on a plate. So let me ask something. If you had a time machine, you come back to present day when you're done with this, but would you go to any time in the past or 20 years in the future? But you come back to today. You can't change anything. You just get to observe.
I'd actually love to just go back and observe me, particularly and I think I'd be embarrassed, but I'd like to go back and just watch some of the interactions I used to have with people and probably come back and be very grateful for where I'm now. I don't want to know the future. I don't want to know the future because I'm excited to see what happens. So yeah, I'd go back and just observe and probably be proud of the person I am now.
There's a monster keg party back in like 1989. I'd love to go back to that one. I did not want that night to end, bro. I love it. So, favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time or money to?
There's a company in Australia called Beyond Blue. Done a number of sessions for them that they really focus on, physical and mental well-being. And that essentially that's what I try and use play now to do is to improve people's physical and mental well-being. So yeah, for me, Beyond Blue in Australia.
Love it. Love it. Last question. You can elaborate on this one, but what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I reckon the 80s. I was playing it this morning. Spotify. There's this 80s mix that for some reason.
Can I ask how old you are, Dale?
I am. I'm 37.
Okay. All right. So we're not that far. I'm 50. So you had that 80s.
13 years, mate.
It's so many things happened in the 80s. And, we had this invasion from Australia that I used to listen to at the roller rink, roller skating with men at work. Man, it's like men on down under, 6'4" and full of muscles. I was like,
thunder.
I love it. No, the 80s though, man, had everything. Big Hair, Don't Care, rap, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, you had Metallica and all the metal bands, and you had again, the invasions into the United States of like U2, Duran, Men at Work, stuff like, dude, culture. It was the best decade, man. I would go back to the 80s in a minute just to visit it and have some fun. And the best movies came out here, at least here in the States in the 80s, with Back to the Future, all the Rocky movies. And I don't know, that's just me. I'm glad we agree on that, man. So, how can we find you, brother?
You can find me probably the easiest place if you just search Dale Sidebottom. It's a pretty unique name, Scotty. So probably on Instagram, I'm Dale Sidebottom. If you want to check out my website, it's JUGAR.life. If you don't know how to spell that, I'm sure you can.
It'll be in the show notes. I promise.
Yeah. Perfect. And my book, if you want to check it out, it's basically got everything I've got in there, or just watch my TED talk. If you want a little snapshot of everything I've done, I've condensed it into 15 minutes and I've got my pajamas on. So check it out.
It is awesome, squad. I mean, I got to rock some of these pajamas one time I'm on the trampoline next time. It's so funny. But hey, man, do me one last solid, Dale, and leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action.
If you haven't tried something that scares you lately, give it a go. Because there's so many people that I think are living too safe. So if you're not trying things that scare you, then you probably need to mix it up, I feel.
In squad, we literally this was a fun conversation, but it was almost like a free masterclass for you guys from my good friend Dale. He taught all over the world. He has a love for education and fitness. And he wants to remind you that whatever you're doing, enjoy it, add movement to it, form strong social circles, build resistance through those circles to things that are bothering you, because the community can help you level up. He believes in play-based mindfulness, find your inner child, level up your busy lives, have fun in what you're doing, but stay present at the moment. He's somebody that really kind of kept chasing, not living, push people away. He learned from that to maybe add some sabbaticals. That's what we call them here. For him, it's kind of like play dates. Like add those sabbaticals, get away, get present with yourself, build that community from you. He finds that real benefit comes in large groups, and you've got to get over to his website. It's in the show notes, and watch him give this TED Talk and how engaged the audience is. It's fantastic. I haven't seen anything like it in a guy in pink pajamas in such a long time. He believes that great results come from vulnerability. Be vulnerable, because there's people out there, if you get your asking gear, that will help you out. He says, within a safe, trusting environment, that is where the magic happens. Dale goes all in life. He tells you, I love it in his Aussie way, give it a go. If it scares you, give it a go. We always say, do it scared here. And I absolutely love that. I mean, Dale wants you to be unique, live into that character, be authentic, and if you don't know something, get your asking gear, because there's people out there that really want to help you. He reminds us, don't buy green bananas. Invest in them now, especially with your friends and the family, because if you're waiting for that to ripen, time's going to pass, and folks, you ain't ever going to get it back. He's going to remember it as someone, to me, that's really planting trees that he's never going to sit in the shade of. He's like a little brother from a different mother. Like, I'm serious. Like, that's one thing about Dale. I love this cat. He believes that when you look back on your life, be proud of your mistakes, the hiccups that happen. But with that, there's lessons to be learned, and do something about those lessons to improve your life, and most of all, to help improve others. Don't tell them what to do, but make their life better for living, and be grateful. And that's what my friend Dale Sidebottom does. He levels up his health. He levels up his wealth. He's humble, yet he's curious and hungry. And he's earned his varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Man, thank you so much for coming on. I cannot wait to rock stages with you someday and collaborate, man. I seriously love your guts, Dale. Thank you again so much, brother.
Scotty, mate, I know you're so successful at what you do, but if you ever want to come and be an intro for me, that's the best evaluation of my life. Intro, anything, mate. You really brought a tear to my eye. So, mate, keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. You're amazing at it. And I'm just so grateful to be here. So thanks so much for having me, mate.
Pleasure's mine, brother. We'll chat soon.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.